Speaking of coaching, the Knicks end up firing Coach Tibbs. So fresh off their deepest playoff run in the past 25 years, Carl Collins, the New York Knicks fired coach Tom Thibodeau earlier
Crazy.
today, which is crazy. Um, yeah, this was their best, I think, as far as best win record that they've had since like the Pat Riley era. And this is
Mm,
2 years in a row where they won 50 games as
50
far. They
games.
knocked out the Celtics. Obviously they're a little hampered as well too, and they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals,
Nah, the
man. And
Celtics
it
was
looks
not
like,
hampered, bro. They was smacking the Celtics when Jason Tatum tore
yeah,
his
I
Achilles.
think because if you look at that game, like even when Jason Tatum was about to go for a 50 ball, like that
They were
last
still
sequence they
losing.
had, they were still losing. So I think they were
Yeah.
gonna. I mean, it may have been possible to come back from 3-1, but it was looking very unlikely. They would just get him BTA as well too. So yeah, Leon Rose came out and basically said our organization is singularly focused on winning a championship for our fans. And then he also said this pursuit led us to the decision to inform Tom Thibodeau that we've decided to move in another direction. We can't thank Tom enough for pouring his heart and soul into each and every day of being the New York Knicks head coach. Ultimately, we made the decision feel is best for our organization moving forward. Tom will always be a part of our Knicks family, and we truly wish him nothing but the best for the future as well, too. So, yeah, man. Tom Tibbs. I mean, it's a new era of coaches, man. I mean, like obviously Pop, I mean, he's kind of moved away, obviously for health reasons, but there's not that many OG like old coaches outside of like Rick Carlisle I can think of. I mean, obviously like you got Spo and stuff, but he's still relatively young. So I'm talking about like old head coaches. So
Hmm.
his just style is and his approach is just kind of outdated, man. Coming from the heavy workload and fatigue that, multiple players have, come to basically complain about him about that got leaked out to the media, his stagnant offense, his limited adjustments, uh, overplaying his starters is just it just wasn't enough. And like I said before, if you could have had maybe a better coach who's a little bit more nuanced, then maybe we would have seen a different outcome. But what are your thoughts on Tibbs getting fired less than a week from
Them losing.
trying to force a game seven in the finals in the conference
I
finals?
I think that one, I'll say, he's definitely an older coach, but I don't think that saying his style is old school. Like when Tibbs first got his head coaching job with the Bulls. So
Hmm.
he first started coaching basically when they had Derrick Rose. There wasn't any other coaches out at the time playing all their guys as many minutes. Like he's been doing this his whole career when it was not the thing at the time. Like it's not like he started coaching in the 90s or something like that. Like when he started coaching,
Hmm.
he was like, no, Luol Deng, you're going to be out there playing 38 minutes a night. Like that was him. And that's what he's been known for his whole career. And it's drove a lot of guys into the ground. But
Mm.
yeah, I think that it's funny, I was talking to some of my friends and I was like, once the starters started coming out and complaining, like, yo, bro, play the bench players, I felt like it was over. He's
Yeah.
very stubborn, stuck in his ways, which I think in basketball can be helpful in some ways, but I think when you're doing something that has honestly never been the best practice and it's not really going
Yeah.
to be beneficial. So yeah, the signs were kind of there, and then you go out before the finals, which is crazy. Honestly, I think this postseason was more of a hey, if you get to the finals, we'll keep you, but if not, you're out of there and he fell short. Like you said, I think that they're probably hoping, another voice can come in and take the same team and
Mike Malone.
that's what people are saying.
Damn.
Yeah, achieve the same or
Mm.
at least achieve better. But also I'll say this, you can't take for granted, which I'm sure Knicks fans don't either, winning back-to-back seasons with 50 games. So
Yeah.
we hope that someone comes in and improves them, but there's also a chance for regression.
Yeah.
Um, so, we'll see, but
Yeah.
I do think it was time for Tibbs to get up out of there. You just can't be
Hmm.
playing your whole starting five, 38 minutes a night for the whole regular season. It's one thing if we're in the playoffs, but yeah,
Yeah, it bit them in the ass as well too. And that definitely showed in the series against the Pacers. So that's a tough one, but sometimes you have to take the fall, and he happened to be the guy to take the fall. So we'll see what happens with the Knicks. There's been other reports, and they have already have betting odds for different coaches to
of
land it.
course.
I'm thinking Mike Malone. Maybe he can. Obviously, like Joker is the system, and obviously Cat isn't on Joker's level, but he's one of the better big men that can pass the ball a little bit more. So maybe if you get Mike Malone, you can kind of implement a couple of the 1-2 man games, because we really didn't see that 1-2 punch that much in this series and in the entire playoffs and the entire season with Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. Is more so I get off, you get off.
Hmm.
So it'll be nice to kind of see them implement that. And like you said, utilize their bench. And then also like with Jalen Brunson, like you can't be just dribbling the shit out of the ball, trying to get a switch every single time, trying to attack. Like they need to also have him play off the ball, coming off the screens, pin downs, all that other good stuff as well too. And just make the game easier for him as well, especially if you're playing that many minutes. But we'll see what happens with the Knicks. Like you said earlier before, the East and the West is going to be up for grabs. Like looking at it right now, because there's really no more super teams. There could be one on the rise, Spurs, with but um, outside of that dream fantasy in my head, like we
I think
may
the
see a
Thunder
new
are a super team.
champion next 10 years.
I think the Thunder are a super team.
I wouldn't say it yet. Let them win first, and then we can come back and kind of say they were a super team.
I don't think you
Um,
have to win to be the super team either. Like I think the
Well,
Nets,
okay, yeah,
where
that
when they
that
had
that
all
is
those
true.
guys, were a
That is
super
true.
team.
So I guess with me, by definition, I'm looking at three max contract players on one team um, that have
But
come
those are
together and have been the guy on their team. So I don't think they're necessarily a super team quite yet, but they definitely have the pieces to be a super team. I think they have one of the best coaches you can argue right now in the Western Conference and the entire NBA. Obviously, they have their MVP. Jalen Williams finally got his flowers and got that All NBA. Just been out almost half the season, came back from his little hip contusion or bruise or whatever, crack or whatever,
no, he
and
broke
he's been a
something.
little bit more consistent. But the depth, man, the depth is make that makes me believe they're. I don't really look at them as a super team, bro.
But that to me is why they're even more of a super team is they have a big three plus depth. A lot of super teams had to
Mm-hmm.
get rid of all that depth to get a big three.
Mm-hmm.
But they, to me, they remind me more of the Warriors when they first won because that team with those three, I think that was a super team because clearly they won the most games in NBA history.
You
And
you think the 73-9 Warriors win team was a super team?
yeah, I think that KD was a
Uh,
super duper team.
I
I think that
I
was
think
over the top.
KD make them a super team. Um, but
If you win
I
73 games, I think it's hard for me to not say you're a super team and you have a big three of all three all NBA players who were on max contracts at the time.
with Draymond, though, I
Um,
mean, I know he was better back in the day, but I ain't really call that a super team. They were definitely ahead of their time for sure, but
I mean, Draymond is just Scottie Pippen with like five less points at that point. Like,
I mean, even
I think
Scotty,
your third best
with the
player
Scotty
doesn't have
Pippen
to be
aspect, we can't disrespect
offensive player.
Scotty Pippen like that.
I mean, Scottie Pippen never was a defensive player of the year. We can't just disrespect Draymond like that.
I mean, but Rudy Gobert was a defensive player of the year multiple times. I mean, obviously
Yeah,
they're
but
two
he's
different
but
type
Rudy
of players,
Gobert
but
is not a
I'm just saying, like
four-time NBA
awards
champion.
itself
Yeah, I know.
sometimes awards can be kind of finicky.
I'm mentioning one award amongst other accomplishments and amongst the fact that we've seen him play much better than Rudy Gobert
Yeah.
and validate his Defensive Player of the Year awards. I'm just saying I don't think
Hmm.
it's crazy to compare him to Scottie Pippen. I absolutely don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and that again, this is just my opinion, but I absolutely
Yeah,
believe that
no, I'm
the
listening.
Thunder
I
are
disagree, but I hear
a
you.
young super team. I think they're in that same fit. Honestly, to me, this is more like, which is crazy. They're still going to win the ship this year, but this year to me feels like the year before the Warriors won the ship when they still had Mark Jackson. In
Mm,
terms of where they're at in their development. I think next
yeah.
year I think the way that their big three is going to play next year is going to make it more apparent that they're a super team. Um,
Hmm.
but I definitely think that we are witnessing a bit, probably like at least a mini dynasty is about to start with these
Hmm.
guys. As long as they're
Yeah.
able to keep the three of them and like the things that they're able to do around them, they have all the picks. That's also a part that goes into it is the way that they've been managing the team since they traded away all of their former big three
Hmm.
has been really excellent. So it's allowed them to bring in a lot of pieces and other things like that. But I
Yeah.
think that, yeah, you win 60 something games. You're clearly the best team in the league. And you have a very young big three. Um, but it's also to me about like the bench as well. I don't think just a big three makes you a super team. I think it's like all the things that go into it. Like when the Warriors
Mm,
got KD, they lost a lot of depth, but KD still made them a super team. Versus I think the year
yeah.
before they had a lot of depth, and so that also included into making them be able to win 70 something games and almost repeat if it wasn't for potentially the best player ever coming back and beating them. So
No, that's facts. That's facts. That's facts. So where we putting the 64-18 Cavs team?
I don't think that
Defensive
that
player of the
team.
year, all NBA player, and another all-star.
Who was the defensive
Great
player of the
depth, they
year?
say. Evan Mobley.
Oh, I thought you said the old. They're talking about like a LeBron Cavs team.
No, no,
Uh,
this I'm just going off of
yeah,
the personnel, the
I
coach, all
don't think
that.
that they're uh I mean, I think it's clear that they got washed in the playoffs. Every 60 win
Yeah.
again, like the qualifiers that I use are in context. Every 60 win team isn't
Yeah.
the same. We saw the Hawks win 60 wins and nobody ever thought that they were any sort of amazing team.
Mm,
And this the same I don't think, and honestly, I don't think there is a big three in Cleveland. I think it's Donovan Mitchell, and I guess Evan Mobley. Darius Garland didn't play well at all the entire postseason, and he played okay
mm,
this year, but I don't think he was an all star this. If he was an all star, it was just because of their record. Um,
yeah.
I don't think that they like. I would take Jalen Williams over Darius Garland any day, and I
Hell
think
yeah.
that Chet at this stage, I would take Mobley over Chet. But again, we're talking about I think they're still young, so like potentially even
Mm.
up to next year, I think that Chet and Mobley are going to be on even standing.
Yeah,
So
I can see
yeah,
that, especially with a fully healthy season as well too.
yeah,
But like you said, I think they definitely have. Yeah, like I said, I disagree with the super team aspect, but I do agree that they're on the cusp and have the personnel, like you said, the draft equity as well too. But yeah, once they officially win it, then I may change my mind there. But only time will tell. So